Platform as a service, do your best to avoid AWS if this is your primary decision point. Start with Google Cloud App Engine if this works for you, and then consider alternatives. Azure Functions are a compelling serverless offering. Don't assume that you should just use Lambda. The decision may come down to what open source projects like the Serverless framework can do for you compared to what you may get built in from Azure. Also, don't forget to keep your eye on Google Cloud Functions that may come out of beta sometime soon. Google Container Engine and Azure Container Service are strong services that provide the best the world has to offer in container orchestration software. There's really no point to even consider ECS here. Database offerings are a clear win for AWS. You may end up having to run your own if you opt for another provider. Of course you can do that, but the question is, do you really want to? GCP's telemetry tools are first in class. Give them a go and see if they work for you. They may even replace some of the existing tools you have in your stack. AWS wins in application support and beats out the others from a simple maturity perspective. Remember to select the provider that gives you exactly what you need. You may not need everything in the kitchen sink. Azure edges out the others in data engineering because of their more hosted open source offerings, although I get the feeling that you may be happy with any of these three in this area. As for geographies, the big three are really quite similar here. Google is set to launch new regions in 2017, so that should equal them out to remove it as a deciding factor. However, given the similarities, I don't think that this area will differentiate the three between most people. And finally, we talk about price. Here, it's important to remember to do your own analysis on compute, storage, and a wide array of other factors that may impact your final underlying cost. It's hard to declare a hands-down winner in terms of monetary cost for your exact use case. However, that being said, Google Cloud Platform does appear to be generally cheaper for the majority of use cases. Now, these kind of decisions usually come down to the differences, and not everything can be easily compared. Let me quickly summarize the results. AWS is the known contender of the group. Sometimes it's best to go with the devil you know instead of the devil you don't. The open source community targets AWS first because of its market position and momentum. Also, it's hard to discount AWS's portfolio and market position. GCP feels like the upstart underdog. It excels in some areas like telemetry, but cannot compete feature by feature against the other two. However, Google is arguably the best company in the world at building and running planet-scale systems. You can't discount that wildcard. Also, their UX and general performance for starting new VMs is the best of the three. Azure is taking direct aim at AWS, and their portfolio shows it, from strong serverless offerings to the deepest enterprise supporting services. Also, it's Microsoft, so if you're into the .NET or Windows game, then no one does it better than them. Their integrations between on-premise and cloud and even Visual Studio are hard to beat. Alright, we've made it to the end. I'll do my best to boil it down to a few bullet point recommendations. First, go with AWS if you just want something that works everywhere and don't mind paying a little bit extra. Go with GCP if their products meet your requirements or you don't need everything in the kitchen sink. They're also generally cheaper than the other providers. GCP is a great choice if this is your first experience with cloud platforms because it's not so expensive and they generally cover the majority of use cases. Go with Azure if you're living in a Microsoft world or you want everything in the kitchen sink or you need enterprise integrations. Also, don't discount that they're pretty good at generally most of the things that they do. This next point is arguably the most important thing you should take away from this course. It's a simple recommendation that may have gigantic ramifications on how you actually architect your final system. And it's simple. Go hybrid. Odds are you're best suited combining bits from all the different providers. You can use AWS for compute, but throw GCP's telemetry services at it. You may use AWS's databases services for containers running in Google Container Engine. No one says you must pick just one. You can have your cake and eat it too by going hybrid. Don't choose any one provider on Platform as a Service alone. If you're only interested in Platform as a Service, then something like Heroku trumps all of these platforms. Lastly, I recommend you pass if you just require a simple VPS. Not everything requires a cloud provider of this scale. If you just need a simple VPS to run Apache, then you may be better suited for DigitalOcean or other smaller scale platforms. There are a ton of products in this area. I suggest you evaluate these options first if what we just covered feels like too much stuff for your particular use case.